Hello team. Today's challenge is energy consumption, where we take a measurement, convert it to another measurement, and do some comparisons. We've seen this one a few times in things like pounds to kilograms and miles to kilometers, and a few others that I'm forgetting at the moment, but I know that we've done them, okay? So we can jump right in. I'm going to copy and paste this one because this will be the part that I sorely mess up, these two numbers here. And it makes sense to me to do it, okay? We are going to wrap this inside of an object. This is going to be called, too many J's, but joules conversion factor, okay? So don't let long names scare you, okay? They all get kind of compressed inside of the runtime. Not a problem, okay? So joules conversion factor tells us exactly what this is. And that's what we're going to do, okay? We have this object. We're going to take these two lines, bump them up and in, and now we can change this, okay? Grabbing the equals, using some multi-cursors, we can get rid of all of this, just like this. We're going to rename these a different way, getting rid of this, comma. I forgot the colon in there. Great, okay? Backing it out, this one is going to be lowercase c, cal, okay? So calories, the short form of that is cal. This one is going to be watt hours. The short form of that is capital W, H, right? You'll probably recognize it better as kilowatt hours, right? But for us today, we can just do watt hours, okay? And we can build into this. So if later on we wanted, say, BTU, something like British thermal units, right? We can add that. If we wanted, I was doing some research earlier. Apparently there's an electron volt, which is a tiny fraction of joules. We can add that conversion factor in here and just use it. Makes it really nice. Moving on, we want a function. So in previous conversions, I would usually do this inside of the main function, but because we're going to convert both of these things, both calories and watts, it makes sense to have a central function for that, okay? Abstract it away, make it easy on ourselves. We're going to call this 2 joules. Might be a bad name, pick a better one, right? We're going to get the amount and the unit, which is kind of the shape that previous challenges use, right? The amount and the unit, we're going to do that. Inside of here, we're going to return amount times joules conversion factor, copying that down so I don't mess this up, unit, okay? This is going to return exactly what we need. It's going to return the joules, which now we can compare. So way down here, we're going to get started as calories in joules, calories in joules, and we're going to set that to joules. And that's going to be calories burned. Oh, can't type apparently. Burned. Brilliant. And the amount is going to be CAL. Okay? Brilliant. We're going to do this exact same thing, but for watt hours used. So we're going to take this, change it. Brilliant. Watt. I keep wanting to type it as WHAT. Spelling things is hard. But here we go. Watt hours burned, okay? So that gives us this thing. Oh, this is used. That's weird. Used. Naming things is hard. You know what? Calories burned, watt hours used. Kind of makes sense, actually. I'm not going to change that. But this right here should be WH, okay? So now that we have these, I'm going to change this up. In previous challenges, I would do something like an if equals, return equals, right? Because that's what we're doing over here. If they're the same, we return equal, right? If workout is more, we return workout. If less, and usually we do an if statement followed by a ternary, right? I got that backwards like this, right? We do that. Today I want to try something a little bit different, and that looks like this. We're going to take this const diff equals calories in joules minus watt hours in joules, okay? Minus, let's do it right. Brilliant. And that's going to give us a negative a negative, a positive, or a zero. Okay, negative, positive, or zero, based on what we're doing. And now we can do something different, something that we haven't done before in these challenges, which is we can get rid of this and add a switch statement. Maybe you hate switch statements, but I find them to be useful. So let's try it, okay? Math.sign. We've seen this before. Math.sign will return a -1, 1, or a 0, okay? Or a -0 in some weird cases. But the important parts are -1, 1, 0, okay? So it'll tell us whether we are minus, plus, or equal, right? That's what we're going for. Right here, we add a case. We're going to set this to 0. Because of that -0, I'm also going to add in -0. I don't see how we'd ever hit this, but safety first, right? Protect yourself. Makes sense. We're going to do it. If that's the case, we're going to return equal, okay? Not equals, but equal. Case 1, okay? So now we're into the positive numbers, okay? And in this case, we're going to return workout, right? Because if this is a positive number, it means that the calories are bigger than the watt hours, which means that, the calories in joules is bigger than the watt hours in joules, right? Joules and joules, which means that the workout won, okay? So right here, we return workout. Brilliant, okay? Last one is case -1, and that's going to be return. For some reason, they have this one as plural, so be careful, okay? Devices, okay? At this point, it works, and it works fine. I do want to do a couple things here, though, okay? Actually, just one more thing. The first was that case -0, so just in case, I can't, in testing, it never happened, but just because it never happened doesn't mean it never will. So hedging our bets here, we can double these up and they still return equal, okay? Down here, we should have some sort of a default in every switch statement, so a little bit of extra code. But in this case, the only way that we could hit the default is if it's nan, okay? And that's very important. We really should have tests for if these are numbers somewhere higher, right? Or if we were using TypeScript, we could do that. We'd get something, but the only way that we could hit this default state is if it was not a number, okay? If we passed in the string ONE, 1, instead of 1, right? Something silly like that. But if we do, throw new error, unreachable state, okay? That's how did we get here? That's not a useful message, but in theory, it should be enough, okay? In practice, you'd want something better, obviously, okay? At this point, we have it, and it works great. Now, again, in previous ones, I would do like an if statement and then a ternary for the final bit. Here, I did a little bit different because I wanted to play around with math.sign a little bit more, just so you can see the difference, okay? I did do both, so here's the if statement and the ternary. Remember that devices should be plural, right? And then, of course, down here with that switch statement, and they are pretty close. Almost 7 million ops per second. So both are plenty fast. If you really had to and you wanted to be super clear on what was going on, maybe the if statement and ternary, but the performance gains are pretty close together, okay? This is it. This is what we did. So we took that joules conversion factor, we funneled it through a function to make it easier to maintain, okay? And then we did it all. And again, the switch statement, a little bit different. I think this is the first time that I've used this in one of these challenges, but I like it, right? And it's so easy to use, so easy to get around, but not the only solution. So if you found something and you want to share it, hit me up in those comments. I would love to see it. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.